Hi guys, Robbie46 here, welcome to round 14, the penultimate round of Robbo's Racing League on Valentino Rossi the game. Today we will be racing at Motegi, a track I'm not that fond of, but I'll take it over Valencia any day. So let's go and see how qualifying went. And it was Dylan who was on pole, followed by Brandy Scales in second, Armorland was third, I was fourth, Matt was fifth, F1 Fan sixth, FIFA Master seventh, Moorland in 8th, and Biker obviously serving his penalty, didn't qualify, so he was 9th, and Pit Bike Rider, he kept having connection issues. So that was what happened in qualifying, but it kind of became irrelevant as we started the race. So we're going to go over, you'll see like basically everyone's dots are red, and that wasn't a good sign because when the race eventually starts, you see Brandy Scales just rejoined. So a few connection issues. I mean, we've had some really shit weather over the last few days, and I think that's affected it because there's actually only 3 of us in this race. So just myself, Moorland 97 and Biker. So don't worry, we don't do the whole race just like this. You see other people rejoining and that. So obviously, that's a bit stupid, so I decided to quit this and restart the lobby. We didn't do qualifying the second time though, just because we didn't have time. So here we go for the race restart. It's put me on pole, it usually always does anyway, but obviously me on the left, Matt on the right. Let's go do this. Motegi. Obviously I have a lot of history at Motegi, usually really bad stuff. It's not a track that's been kind to me in the past. Like I said, I'm not that fond of it, but we've got to do what we've got to do, being sandwiched between the 2 Moorlands. There is still a bit of lag, just because the connection's not that great, but we're in 4th at the moment, as people were lagging all over the place. So F1 Fan came up the inside there, lagging a little bit, so we're back down to 5th. Matt is in the lead, and trying to pull away at the moment, as Brandon comes up the inside of us, and then as we switch back, I get F1 Fan and try to get up the inside of Brandy's Scales, but not quite happening. And then trying to get a better exit, trying to get around the outside of him, but that wasn't going to work. Front 3 trying to get away already as Brandy Scales goes very wide there, and we actually managed to get back up into 4th place. So at the moment you have Matt in the lead, you got Dylan in 2nd and Armorland in 3rd place. Me in 4th, but there is a bit of a gap now. It's quite a big gap, but Armorland went very wide there. We'll see what the gap is when we come up to the first split, which we're coming up to now. So it's over a second, the gap is 1.1 seconds, so not looking that great at the moment. I mean, I was slowly pulling away from the people behind me, and yeah, so it's kind of looking like I was going to start drifting into no man's land, where there was a gap behind and a gap in front, and I was just, yeah, stationary. So that is the first lap done. At least everyone managed to join the race, apart from, unfortunately, Pit Bike Rider. Like I said, he did have some connection issues, as Armorland tries to go around the outside of Dylan, and that worked. So Armorland has moved up into 2nd place now. Dylan 3rd. Dylan goes very wide there into the gravel, and we managed to move up into 3rd place. And Armorland's not that far away now. Matt's got a little bit of a gap, so I mean, it's under a second up to Armorland. So can we get up to him? Obviously we've got Dylan right behind us, so I was expecting some sort of attack very quickly. This is of course only lap number 2. I was just hoping that, well, one, the sound would stay. I didn't want the sound to go like it did at Mazzano the last round, because that was really difficult. And 2, I didn't want to crash at this circuit, just because, like I said, it's one of my bogey tracks. So yeah, just trying to keep it rubber side up at the moment, or rubber side down even. Shiny side up, don't want rubber side up, otherwise that'd be a crash. But we're right on the tail of Armorland now. Just 0.2, basically 0.3 ahead of me now. You see Matt's got quite a big gap now. So that's probably about over a second now. We are definitely trying to close in try and get past our moorland. I kind of realised that I was struggling getting into the chicane because I kept rushing into the second part and going very wide and obviously losing momentum coming out. So that was a bit of a pain in the ass, and the trouble is I kept doing it, which was really frustrating. So just got a little bit of a gap to try and get back up to our moorland now, because we did cock up the exit of the chicane. Like I said, did go wide, and done that quite a few times during the race, which was not ideal. The penultimate Ducati didn't feel too bad around here. There isn't that many quick changes of direction, because it's usually just straights and then a corner and then straight. So I think the penultimate Ducati worked pretty well here. But I kind of realised where I was strongest, and that was coming into this next corner on the brakes. I could make up quite a bit of time on our moorland, and I think it's just in the really heavy braking zones. That's where I was making most of my time up. Like into here as well, I was making a bit of time up as well. Still got Dylan right behind us, but he hasn't been able to get past us just yet. As we try and claw our way back up to our moorland. The gap was basically 0.6. So could I catch him? I wasn't sure, because it was kind of yo-yoing in different sections. Like I said, I knew where I was stronger, but I just had to try and get a bit closer in the other sections, especially into here. But again, that time wasn't too bad. I actually got out of there okay. Not brilliantly, but better than the previous lap. So it's 0.9 now, so it's almost back up to second as moorland goes very wide into the first corner. But that gap up to Matt is coming down a little bit as well. So our moorland's chipping away at Matt, I'm chipping away at our moorland, and Dylan's chipping away at me. So four of us pretty close together at the moment. I'm hoping it was going to last the race distance, because this could be one of the closest races we have. I did struggle in qualifying just because I kept cocking up my laps, which is really annoying me, because well, not that it mattered anyway, because we didn't end up using the qualifying because of the connection issues. But so it wasn't too bad. Yeah, it's one thing after another with this game at the moment. Last round the sound went, but like this week it was the connection, but I think that was mainly due to the weather rather than the actual game. So like I said, we've had really, really bad weather down there, heavy winds and shitloads of rain. But I've caught back up to our moorland, he's caught back up to Matt as well, so we're all pretty close together. We're actually pulling away from Dylan a little bit. And on the brakes again, we catch up to moorland. He went a little bit wide. And coming around the chicane again. That was better again through there. So we're actually making progress on the chicane at the moment. And we have just set the fastest lap of the race. And I think that actually is the goes on to be the fastest lap of the race. I think I was the only person that got into the 140s. Everyone else in the 141. So when I could get my shit together, I could do some decent lap times. But yeah, just trying to keep it all together and do it lap after lap. And obviously try not to crash as well. It's quite easy to outbrake yourself at this track and run on. Try and close in again. Really, really like hard on the brakes into these corners, and a couple of times I felt the front trying to tuck, but managed to keep it upright for the moment. You can see how close our moorland is to Matt now, so that gap that Matt had, that advantage has come down as he goes a bit wide there. Our moorland looking like he's going to have a look at the inside. Not quite managing it. And we are pulling away from Dylan by quite a bit now. We are on lap 5, so we're basically halfway through the race now. Through the chicane again. Again, wide. Morland looking like he's trying to get past Matt again, but not working that time. See how much time I lost from going too deep into the second part of the chicane. Back up to 0.8. So basically a second slower on that lap because of that chicane. Now I've got it all to go again, try to catch back up to him. Went wide there on the grass a little bit. That was a bit of a warning. And we have lost so much time now. To come up to the split, it's almost 1.5 seconds. So we have lost shitloads of time. Morland's still pestering Matt, trying to get past. And I've got Dylan back on me. So it was looking like they're going to start going away now because of a couple of mistakes from myself. 1.3, so come back down to 10th, and this gap had gone back up to a second, back to Dylan. So I had to try and push again to try and get back with him. Morland trying to find a clean way past Matt. That's the trouble with this circuit, even though there's quite a lot of braking zones, it is quite difficult to pass around here because a lot of the corners are quite one line. So it's under a second now, so we've caught up a little bit. We've pulled away from Dylan again. So again, every time I close in on him, I cock up the chicane again on the exit, and it was getting really frustrating because I knew what I was doing, and I just, for some reason, just couldn't stop myself from running in way too hard into the chicane, and it was really annoying. So it's back up to over a second the gap now. We're on lap 7. I've got to try and close back in on him. I've actually closed in on him a little bit now. Matt got a little bit of an advantage. Crash further back for Biker. So it's 0.7 now, so we actually closed in quite a bit in those few corners. Again, trying to get my shit together and stop making stupid mistakes. Morland goes wide there, and I close in even more. As we come into the braking zone, he's closing in a bit more as well as he goes wide again. And we're back on him. Matt still isn't that far ahead. He's got a little bit of an advantage, but not a huge one. So 0.4 now the gap. Just have to get my braking markers right. Again, pulling away from Dylan. This time, better out of the chicane. I was determined not to cock up in the chicane again. But we're on lap 8 now, so not many laps left. And we all just start closing in a little bit more. This is where I was making up loads of time on the brakes. And this corner coming out of here is quite difficult because you can't go full throttle, otherwise you just keep spinning the rear up and you get really shit exits, so you have to be really gentle on the throttle out of that corner. Cocked up that right hander, just went in a bit too hard and a bit too tight to the curb. We still only have a second the gap, and Morland's closing on Matt as well. Like I said, it's all closing in a bit again. Dylan further behind, still in 4th place. A bit too hot into there. Managed to square the corner off a little bit. Basically 0.3. Almost 3 seconds back to Dylan now. I wasn't trying to use our Moorland slipstream too much because I didn't want to end up out-braking myself, especially down there because it's such a big run-off. You get lost in it. To the chicane. Again, a pretty decent exit that time again. And we come round to start the penultimate lap, lap number 9. So I try to get back on terms with them. Matt has got a pretty decent advantage at this part of the race. He's looking pretty good in the lead. Gap 0.4. So it does keep yo-yoing like a couple of attempts each sector, but just in the really heavy braking zone is where I seem to be making my time up. A little bit better around there, but not perfect again. Then on the brakes again, close back in. Got a good exit out of there. Into the hairpins. We've definitely dropped Dylan now, so it's just a battle for the podium unless something catastrophic happens. Now I decided to try and use his slipstream a little bit, knowing that I've got to brake a bit earlier this time. So we close in on the brakes again, and we still manage to get it stopped. So we come around now to start the last lap, and Matt has got a pretty decent gap now. And I come up the chicane, okay. And for the final lap, we're going to go over to our Moorland in second place as he tries to get on terms with Matt. There's a pretty decent gap Matt's got at the moment. It's probably just under a second as our Moorland closes in a little bit on the brakes. A bit further back, I was making a couple of mistakes, unfortunately, and was starting to drop behind. As you see, 0.6 at the moment, back to me. Moorland trying to stay with Matt. Got a slight better drive out of that right-hander. Closes in on the brakes. You see the gap back to me is a second now. I did make a couple of mistakes, unfortunately, and drop back. Bit wide there from Moorland. He started braking on the grass. A crash further back for Brandy Scales in 5th and for Biker in 8th place. I was unfortunately out of the battle for the lead now as Matt goes a bit wide. Moorland tries to get a late apex and get underneath him. Don't quite work. Just under a second back to me. And on the brakes into this one. Matt goes in a little bit too hot, which allows our Moorland to come back underneath. And he is through into the lead as they go left. So close to not taking each other out then. So close. I don't know how Matt and our Moorland didn't collide then. It was very, very close. So our Moorland, after a really good overtake, takes the win, followed by Matt in 2nd. I was 3rd. Dylan was 4th. Moorland 97 was 5th. F1 Fan 6th. Brandy Scales 7th. Biker in 8th. FIFA Master 9th. And Pit Bike Rider gets 10th, even though he didn't actually race, but he did try to join. So he will get 10th place. I had to do the results like that because the game froze and everyone disconnected. So what has that done to the championship? Well, that has secured the championship lead for Dylan in the lead. He has 285 points. He cannot be caught. Our Moorland secures 2nd place in the championship as well with 253. So 1st and 2nd already sorted now with 1 race to go. I'm in 3rd. And I have a 17-point buffer over Brandy Scales in 4th with 208. Moorland 97 in 5th for 161. GSXR Matt in 6th with 156. So that's pretty close. Biker 7th for 122. F1 Fan 8th with 110. Pit Bike Rider in 9th with 102. FIFA Master 10th with 87. Tempted DJ 11th with 29. Paradise 12th with 26. Gidsy 13th with 25. Jack in 14th with 7. And JPAR Polos in 15th with 5. Now the team championships. Apex Predators in the lead still with 376. Drag Queens is still in second, but only just with 349, just 1 point ahead of Honda Britain, who's in third with 348. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out in the final race. Winging is still in fourth with 268. And, well, I don't think anyone can catch my team, and my team can't catch anyone else. So we're going to end the championship in fourth place. Fifth place MP Yamaha Racing with 209 points. Pit Bike Masters in sixth with 179. So that is round 14 of the championship. Quite an interesting race. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get onto terms with our Moorland and Matt. Couldn't get past them. Just wasn't consistent enough with my lap times, unfortunately. But the next race, the final race, will be at Phillip Island. That will be 2 weeks' time, the 5th of December. I can't do next Monday because I'm away all week. So, yeah, that's final race coming up, Phillip Island, 5th of December. And that will be it for this league. Anyway, guys, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content. I shall see you guys in the next video. See you!